Hey Shooby-Doodlers, how are you doing? Well, today I'm going to read you the story Mummy Menace from my book Monster Boy, but let's not talk about it. Let's get on and read the story. Monster Boy, Book 2, Mummy Menace. That's disgusting, Connor gasped. Trixie had found a toilet roll in the bushes and she was playing with it like a toy. Ooh! You don't know where it's been or where it's come from, Connor called to his dog. It's probably full of germs. Trixie didn't mind. She was having fun. It was only a toilet roll. As she tossed it in the air, the end came loose and began to unwind. She was soon tangled up in the paper. It's not like the soft stuff we have at home, Trixie thought, as she unfurled her wings. No, Connor called. Trixie, come back right now. It was too late. Trixie flapped her wings and swooped around Connor's head. The toilet paper streamed behind her like a ribbon, creating pretty shapes in the air. Connor sighed and sat down on a tree stump. There was nothing to do but wait. Trixie was having a wonderful time. Bleep, 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 bleep. Connor's MyPod beeped in his pocket. It was a message from the Ministry of Monsters. Mission alert to Monster Boy, #1 agent. From Mission Control, Ministry of Monsters. Subject: someone or something has been taking all the paper from our public toilets. Suspicious activity has been reported near the loos at the Tinkle Falls Cafe. Please investigate immediately. Good luck, Ministry of Monsters. This message will erase in 15 seconds. I got a job, Connor told his mum as he rushed into the Pedal O bike shop where they lived. I'll need MB1 and lots of sandwiches. Mum pressed the button to open the hidden workshop where she looked after Connor's top-secret monster bikes. MB1 was his all-purpose patrol bike. 5 minutes later, Connor was ready and Mum had checked MB1 over. All systems are working fine and I've packed orange juice and sandwiches, she said. Oh, thanks, Mum. Connor swung his leg over the seat and lifted Trixie into her basket. Mum gave Connor a little hug. Oh, please be careful, she said. I do worry about you. Oh, Mum, Connor groaned as he pedalled off. I'll be fine. Stop worrying. Connor's mum was a gargoyle, so Connor was half monster. His code name was Monster Boy. If anyone could look after himself, Connor could. If anyone could look after himself, Connor could. Tinkle Falls was a tiny waterfall in the gently flowing River Wee. It was a favourite place for picnickers with a small cafe, a children's play area and public toilets. Connor leaned MB1 against a tree and switched on the monster detector, and then he sat down on the grass and began to eat his sandwiches. From behind his sunglasses, he surveyed the scene and tried to look like any other kid. Suddenly, someone screamed, "Ah!" and someone else shouted, "Hey!" A moving mountain of toilet rolls ran from the toilets and stumbled off into the woods. A red light flashed on MB1's control panel. Monster alert, he told Trixie. Let's get going. Bing! Connor's MyPod pinged again. It was a message from his dad, Gary O'Goyle, the world-famous mountain bike champion. His dad always sent messages at the most unhelpful moments. Hi, son. I'm having a great time in Egypt at the Valley of the King's International Mountain Bike Championships. There are no mountains. We have to ride up and down the pyramids instead. Lots of love, Dad. The pyramids? Connor muttered under his breath. Suddenly he had an idea of what he might be dealing with. Connor leapt onto MB1 and raced off into the woods. Trixie barked from her basket, ruff, and pointed her nose at something on the ground. Trixie loved chasing monsters. Toilet paper, Connor whispered. Well done, Trix. We're on the right track. It was dark in the woods. Connor switched on the night vision camera. He turned the handlebar to and fro. A trail of small white sheets glowed on the control panel screen. "This way," Connor said. Now and then, Connor caught a glimpse of the monster as they followed the trail of paper through the woods. Trixie growled. The fur stood up on her back. Connor knew what that meant. The monster must be close. Connor switched the camera to monster detector vision. The glowing outline of a body showed up on the screen. "He's just behind that bush," Connor whispered. Connor pedalled MB1 up to full speed. He raced across the clearing, expertly threw the bike into a half-brake slide and skidded around the back of the bush, taking the monster by surprise. Whoa! The monster leapt into the air, tossing toilet rolls in all directions. A dusty cloud of fluttery objects flew into Connor's face. He couldn't breathe. He took his hands off the brakes to brush away the crawling, clinging things. The bike wobbled. Connor lost his balance. He never saw the tree. Doom! And he fell off MB1 with a bump. There was a loud bang and then a hiss as the rescue beacon balloon filled with gas and floated upwards on its cord. The contents of the first aid kit spilled out on the ground. Here we got some monster bike info. MB1 is fitted out with everything that Connor might need on a long monster mission. Got a control panel and monster detectors, sandwiches and first aid box in the equipment bays. The ESP-XL monster detector screen can even identify monsters in the dark. MB1 boasts 9 plasma detectors, giving it a huge range of over 150 metres. Connor screamed, "My leg!" "I'm sorry," a deep, gentle voice called out. Connor squinted through the paint. I knew it, he yelped. "You're a mummy! Why have you been stealing all the toilet paper?" "Moths," said the mummy. "Moths?" Connor squeaked. "They've been eating my bandages," the mummy explained. "I can't be seen in public looking like this." Connor screwed up his eyes and took a look at the mummy. His bandages were chewed to bits. Maggots crawled among the tattered remains. The mummy was right. He looked terrible. "You frightened my moths," the mummy continued, "and that's why they flew in your face." Connor spat a moth from his mouth. But why did you steal the toilet paper?" he asked. "It's all I could get to patch myself up," the mummy told him. "I've tried electrical tape, sellotape, even police crime scene tape. But the moths chew through everything. Oh, I wish I could get nice bandages like this." Connor realised that the mummy was gently strapping his leg with a bandage from the first aid kit. "You'll be okay," said the mummy, "but your leg might be sore for a while." In the distance, Connor heard the sound of an ambulance responding to his emergency beacon. He knew he would be safe now. Blee blah, blee blah, blee blah, blee blah. Here we have the MyPod Monster Identifier Program. Mummy. Distinguishing features. Fingers and toes are tied on in case they break and fall off. Preferred habitat, secret passages and triangular buildings. Essential information. Mummies are not very clever. Most of their brains were scooped out through their noses. The ancient Egyptians did not have toilet paper. They probably used a wet sponge on a stick, or they used a seashell as a scraper. That's gross! 6 weeks later, Mum rode Connor to the hospital in the back of the trailer bike. Connor's leg had mended. It was time to have the plaster taken off. A tall figure loomed into the waiting room and called their name. It was the mummy. His bandages were clean and fresh and perfectly wrapped. In the treatment room, the mummy began gently and carefully cutting off Connor's plaster. "I should thank you for saving my son's life," Mum gushed.
The mummy smiled. Oh, I only looked after Connor until the ambulance came. It's my fault he had the accident in the first place. Anyway, I have to thank Connor for saving me. Mum raised an eyebrow and looked at Connor. I told the doctors about the mummy when they set my leg in plaster, Connor explained. They were really impressed with his bandaging and they offered him a job. Well, I hope they pay you properly, Mum asked. People take monsters for granted, you know. The mummy smiled. They pay me very well. I get fresh bandages every week and a spray to keep the moths and maggots away. It's wonderful. Now I can help people instead of scaring them and stealing their toilet paper. A perfect monster solution, Connor smiled, and then he screwed his face up with a look of excruciating pain. There's something I have to ask you, he said. You can ask me anything you like, said the mummy. Where's the toilet? Said Connor. Next book is book 3, Ogre Outrage. Click up here and I'll read it to you. I have a question for you. What is your favourite monster? And do you think that Monster Boy could sort him out? Put your answers in the comments box below. I'm sure you'd like to have your own copy so that you can read along. Try your library, you never know your luck. Otherwise, there are links below to Amazon and my own website where you can get a signed copy with a free poster. In the meantime, keep reading, and I'll see you next time. You take care now. Bye-bye.